Ken DeLand, an American university student studying abroad in southeastern France, went missing on November 29th, 2022. His parents are desperate to find out what has happened to him. Hey everybody, welcome to the True Crime Squad. I'm Kristi Brower, here with my sister, co-host, and partner in crime, Katie Weaver. Hey Katie.
Hello.
How's it going?
Well, it was going well,
Good.
but I just returned home from a grocery shopping trip to Walmart where I humiliated myself.
These are my favorite kind of stories, so let's hear it. What'd you do?
Right? Damn it. I just tend to kind of zone out. I'm really bad for just really losing track of my surroundings and really, focusing. And just recently, I was at a gas station paying, and my cousin was literally standing next to me paying and couldn't get my attention for it until the clerk said, "Excuse me, ma'am, I think that lady's talking to you." And I really, this is how I roll sometimes, right? So I was trying to find an ingredient on the shelf at Walmart, and I was really focused on it. And I hear this girl going, "Hello, hello, hey." And so I thought, "Oh God, again, I'm not paying attention." So I turn and look, and she looks somewhat like my niece, only somewhat, who's
Uh-oh.
like a senior in high school. And I go, "Hey, how are you guys?" And she goes straight past me to the people behind me. My niece and the man with her is definitely not my brother-in-law and not people I knew at all. Then I was like, "Oh." So anyway, about these ingredients. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
So,
So
yeah,
so
both
that
times,
happened.
really. You did that, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my hell, that's fantastic. I
Yeah.
love it.
This is why online shopping is a much better option for me.
Because then if you get distracted, you just never hit pay, right?
Right?
And
That's
then
true.
maybe you
Yes.
can rethink your choices before you do hit pay.
Well, and then the ingredient I needed was up on a high shelf, and I couldn't have reached it in a month of Sundays, and I had to wait until a tall person walked past and asked him to retrieve it for me. Luckily, a couple of college kids came past that were good and tall and nice enough to reach up there and hand it to me.
Yeah.
So, here I am just tearing it up at the Walmart.
It
Yeah.
sounds like it. Yeah, I'm good. There'll be one of those posts in that I Love Life in Rexburg Facebook page we love so much, and you're kicked out, so I'd have to see it. But
Yeah, I got kicked out.
to the short lady in aisle 17 in Walmart, I was not talking to you, and that was weird. And why don't you pay better attention? Yeah, because that
I
is
figured
legitimately the kinds of things people post in that
oh,
weird group.
entirely. Yeah, very much. I'm sure when they walked past her and her dad were like, "Do you know that lady? Mm-mm. Do you? I don't think so." Oh, I'm sorry.
That
I'm very sorry. Carry on.
that is fantastic. Well, this is our Wednesday episode.
Yeah.
We're going to kick it off with a little bit of the DNA for the win.
You've probably all heard by now that the boy in the box case has been somewhat
Yes,
solved. They at least do know who he is now.
you do.
And you probably already heard that his name is Joseph Zarelli.
Yeah.
He died in 1957. That's what you do know. But I
Mhm.
wanted to tell you about the pretty miraculous thing that happened that led to us knowing that.
Oh, please share.
It's all because somebody broke up.
Well, silver lining, I guess.
In 2017, a man named Justin Thomas was doing some online shopping on Amazon and looking for a gift for his girlfriend. So they had one of those ancestry kits for a really good price, which around like Black Friday, Christmas time, you see those for like half off.
Right.
And so he bought it, thinking that would be a fun gift for her. Well, they broke up before Christmas. So he was like, "Well, what the hell? I guess I'll do it." So he did. And it was kind of fun. He learned more about his family and where they came from before they were in the US, and found a lot of families from Italy and lots of family members that still live in Italy. And yeah, it kind of filled in some holes in his family tree that he didn't know anything about. And it was kind of fun.
Hmm.
And then one day he got a phone call from someone who said they were a forensic genealogist and a cold case liaison, and they were asking for his help. And he was completely floored.
Yeah, I'll bet.
And they told him he was a match for a cold case, but in order to really help identify the family, they needed, or the victim, they needed more DNA from the family. So he
Ah.
was able to connect them to his mother to get a sample from her.
Hmm.
He had no idea what the case was or anything. They just
Sure.
gave their DNA happily and went on their way. Well, as it turned out, it was the boy in the box DNA.
Wow.
And he said now he's realizing that the family Zarelli was on his family tree in Italy. And
Oh,
so they're saying that his mother would have been Zarelli's first cousin.
oh my God.
So I just thought that was a fascinating story as to how the identity of the boy in the box came to be.
It is. It does show us, honestly, how important familial DNA and genealogical DNA searches are now and
Yes.
will continue to be
Yeah.
in solving crime.
Hmm.
I mean, the boy in the box is, if you don't know, is a very famous unsolved murder of a child,
Hmm.
and one that, every true crimer has talked about at one point or
Oh,
another.
yeah.
And for this kid to have a face
Yeah.
and have a family and, to know who he was, it's
Hmm.
incredible. Because this case is what, like 56 years old or something like that?
Yeah.
And to think that it's
Yeah.
possible even now to identify him just because his first cousin, second, twice removed or whatever,
Yeah.
happens to do an ancestry kit. It's
Hmm.
crazy.
Isn't that wild? And in this guy's
Yeah.
case, it wasn't even for him. And had that breakup
Right.
not happened, he wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
And here we are.
That
Pretty
is
cool.
amazing. Amazing. Well, it appears that authorities know a little more than they're saying, because they do still consider this an active investigation, and now that they know
Mhm.
who the victim was,
Mhm.
there is some more work being done that it has not been released to the public
Yeah. Yeah.
because little Joseph still has siblings who are living,
Yes.
which is also amazing for
Mhm.
them to know what happened to their little brother,
Yeah.
or their big brother or their brother.
Their brother. Yeah.
That's incredible.
Considering that he died in 1957, I think it's mind-blowing.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
crazy.
So,
Well,
there you go. Well, with
all right.
that, I am gonna turn the mic over to you for our main case.
Yes. So today we're going to talk about a missing persons case that is sort of out of New York, but is really out of a little village in France. So this is Ken DeLand Jr. Ken is a university student from New York who has been studying abroad in France.
Mhm.
And he's a senior at St. John Fisher University, which is in Rochester, New York.
Mhm.
And he's been studying abroad at University of Grenoble in the Alps.
Mhm.
Grenoble Alps, is what his family is saying. So Ken talked to his parents on the 27th of November of 2022.
Yeah.
And apparently he talked to them at least every other day, frequently more often.
Mhm.
And then on November 29th, he left his host family. So he's staying with the host family, and he leaves, and he's gonna go visit. He sounded like he's almost done. Like December 17th is the end of his semester.
Yeah.
So he was going
Well,
to
his
take
visa runs out in
in
January.
January. Like he's
Yeah.
almost done in France. And he decided, he had told his parents he wanted to visit Marseille before he left. So he just takes off with only just the basics and leaves all of his belongings at the host family's house
Mm-hmm.
and just sort of disappears into thin air on the 29th of November.
Mm-hmm. Including his phone charger he left.
Yeah, like he also didn't take his train pass, which I thought was odd because wouldn't he need to take a train to
Right.
Marseille? So there's a lot of questions here. This is an image that is believed to be him walking into a store on December 3rd. And his debit card did, in fact, make a purchase in this store on December 3rd. And there he is. He's got a backpack on. He's got a beanie and a jacket. He's wearing blue pants.
Mm-hmm.
They're quite sure. Authorities in France are quite sure that that is him. That is the last known sighting of him. His phone stopped pinging, though, even before that, on the 30th, I think, of November.
Yeah.
So he's just gone into thin air.
Yeah.
This is a missing persons poster for him. And this is the missing persons report filed with the police, although it's in French. So, if you speak French, you can read this. If you don't, because I don't, it's very basic. It just says, it gives his physical description, where he was last seen, those kinds of things. We don't know a lot, but we know a few things. One is that when he first arrived in France, he seemed a little unprepared to be there, to manage this. This was a big change,
Sure. Yeah.
And he had some trouble making friends. And his parents say that got better later because it's his friends who notified his parents that, hey, he's gone. We can't find him. But one of the problems
that he hadn't showed up to school.
Yes, yeah, he just stopped coming to class. So he sorry, lost my train of thought. So his parents kind of were thinking, well, maybe he has made some friends and things are better because people were contacting them concerned about him.
Yeah.
But he is an adult. And by French law, they don't actually have to tell his parents anything.
And they're pretty much not.
And they're not. And there's a website called Find Ken DeLand, and that's what they're saying, is that they don't get any updates.
Yeah.
And that they feel that something has occurred here, something nefarious may have occurred.
Yeah.
But they don't know because the French authorities won't actually tell them.
Yeah.
So there's a prosecutor in Grenoble who, his name is Eric Vallant, and he is investigating his disappearance.
Yeah.
And his parents are just sort of just sitting waiting in New York, which I think is horrifying.
Oh. Can you imagine how scary it must be? I can't even imagine.
Yeah, I can't either. I mean, I can't imagine my son going abroad like that to begin with, but then to go missing and then you get no information is absolutely terrifying.
I can't even imagine. Yeah. How scary that must be and how helpless they must feel. In any missing person's case, you feel helpless, but when they're in another country,
right. It's
the
awful.
sighting is so weird.
It is. So he was in a decathlon store in the town of Montélimar. That's about 87 miles from Grenoble, where he had been staying, and that was on December 3rd. He spent a really small amount of money, $8.
Like $8, yeah.
I don't think we know what he bought. His family and those who knew him said that he was behaving totally normal before he left. Like, nobody felt like there was anything up.
Yeah.
Nobody had that impression. The people that were there with him physically and his
Yeah.
parents were like, he was acting totally normal. He was
Yeah.
supposed to be headed home on December 15th, which is in 2 days.
Mhm. Yep.
And they have had no communication at all.
Yeah. Well, and the family kind of feels like the authorities are like, "Nah, he had a hard time making friends." So, kind of indicating like, "Yeah, it's probably a suicide," kind of the
Right,
unspoken thing that's being bandied around. And the family's like, that's just not true. Maybe when he first got there, but he had plenty of friends and was not struggling. Didn't seem to be. He had big plans of things he was going to do when he got home. Like
right.
they
He
just
was excited
don't.
for Christmas.
Yeah, they feel like this maybe isn't being taken all that seriously, but they don't really know because they won't really tell them anything. But
No,
that's the worry is that the authorities in France are just kind of going, yeah, well, some kid probably went and offed himself, and the family just doesn't really feel like that's the case. And honestly,
mhm.
why would they? I mean,
Right,
gosh, it's just such a hard situation.
right. So, when they have spoken with French authorities, they have to use an interpreter because they don't speak French,
Yeah.
and that's been really hard. And then
Mhm.
there is a privacy act in France that, prevents the police from really disclosing
Mhm.
anything. The US
Yeah.
State Department does know that there is a missing US citizen in France.
Yeah.
And they said when a US citizen is missing, we work close excuse me, we work closely with authorities as they carry out their search efforts and we share information with families however we can.
Mhm.
But I don't know that they're getting much information either.
Yeah.
Um, so they do have a website. It's Find Ken DeLand.
Uh-huh.
And some tips have come in apparently through the website that he has shared with the FBI and to the US Embassy in
Mhm.
France. But he has no idea if anyone's even checking on those things.
Yeah.
It's really rough because it's possible his family will never know what happened to him.
Right. Like, what do you do at this point? Okay, here's what I would do. Maybe. I'm not in this position, so it's easy to say.
Right.
I think if I were them, I might start trying to crowdfund in the US to pay
Mhm.
for a private investigator in France.
See, me too. I feel like they need somebody on the ground representing them who speaks the language and understands the culture and understands the
Mhm.
laws.
And the area and
Yeah,
knows people in the area that can maybe kind of start feeding some information to him and or her, obviously. But
yeah,
that's in my opinion. And maybe they've already considered that, or maybe the authorities have said, "Don't do that because it'll piss off the French authorities." I don't know, but
right.
I hope that they can get some help on the ground in France. And to me,
Yeah,
that's what I would seriously consider as a private investigator there.
yeah.
And I would
I
think that
agree
a
with you.
lot of Americans would help crowdfund on that because this is an American citizen that's missing
Right.
abroad. He's
Yeah,
also a college kid, and a lot of us have college kids, and
right.
could recognize how terrifying this would be. But yeah,
No,
I
and it
mean,
is
all the
hard,
love to his family. I can't even imagine.
definitely. And we both know because we have 20 something children
Hmm.
that yeah, they lie their asses off to their parents.
Oh
And
yeah,
so, are there a lot of things that his parents do not know about what he's been up to and what's been going on with him?
very possible.
100% sure
Yep.
that there are.
Hmm.
But then you also have the element of this that he was there as kind of an exchange student. He was staying with a host family.
Right.
And there's that family, right? And
Right.
his university that are
Hmm.
very concerned for him.
Hmm.
And the American Institute of Foreign Study, that's who, sponsors these exchange student kinds of things.
Yeah.
And they're trying to be as helpful to Ken's family as possible as
Hmm.
well.
Well, I'll
But
bet,
whew,
this doesn't make other kids or other families wanna send their kids abroad for school, that's for sure.
right? That's got to be a big concern for them.
Yeah,
That, if it appears that kids are not safe going through their program, and we say kids, he's 22, but
right. He's
when
a
you have a
college kid.
22-year-old,
Yeah.
they're a kid.
Mm.
Um,
Especially the boys. Sorry, boys, but it's true.
it's true. It is so true. I know we both have sons.
Mhm.
Mine's a little older now, but has been 22, and yours is
Is
22.
22, yeah.
We know.
Yeah,
Boys are dumb, guys.
yeah.
So it's hard to know what could be
Mhm.
going on behind the scenes here. But we
It's
did wanna
true,
but
but
we did
I
wanna
I
bring
think
it up,
about yeah. Well, it leads me back to the hashtag that Naomi Erion's family started when she went
Mhm.
missing. And the hashtag, I always keep this in my file, is trust the family.
Right,
Hashtag trust the family. Because in Naomi's case and in so many others that we have reported on, the
right.
families know that person's typical behavior. They know what their mental health situation has been in the past. And in this
True.
case, this family is going, look, we're not trying to be completely obtuse, but suicide just does not seem like our son at all,
Right,
or
right.
just taking off. But man, that sighting at the store just still is really haunting me.
It is,
Uh,
it's really odd.
First of all, is it really him? I mean, I guess his family would know that too. I mean, maybe I'm being crazy here, but the way his hat's pulled down low and I don't know. That is
He's
weird to me.
dressed
Weird.
the same way that he was when he went missing on the 29th. People saw
Okay.
him earlier in the day on the 29th,
Right.
and
Yeah.
he's wearing the same jacket, beanie,
Mhm.
and pants.
All right. Okay,
And
fine.
so, I mean, it's pretty likely that it is him.
That it
But
is
where has
him.
he been in between the
Right.
29th and
And
the
where the
3rd?
hell is he now?
And where is he now?
Yeah.
I mean, his parents I think they're pretty aware of the fact that he's probably not living.
Mhm.
But I mean, what's the answer? He's got to be somewhere.
Well, and I don't know. I mean, he was off the grid for 5 days and then was spotted in a store. Could he
Right,
just be back off the grid some more? Yeah,
right.
but
But if he is,
why?
why? I mean, he is literally supposed to be flying home. We're recording this on December 13th. He's supposed to fly home on December 15th.
Yeah.
So where the hell is he?
Mhm.
Why would he have disappeared right before coming home? There's so
Right.
many questions. But
And right before Christmas and at the end of
mhm,
his semester that he's now currently not finishing,
yeah,
that he's put in the work and the time in.
yeah,
None of it tracks. None of it.
it doesn't. Something is definitely wrong.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
He's a pre-law and pre-psych major or a psych major. I was
Mhm.
That was a question I hadn't answered for myself that I just saw
Ah.
here a second ago, so I thought I'd share
Mhm.
that. But anyway, yeah. And what should have just been the adventure of a lifetime, to get to study abroad has now turned
Right.
into an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, it has. Well, we will keep you posted if there are updates in this situation, and we certainly hope for Ken and his family that he's found
Yeah.
safely.
And all the love to Ken's family.
Yeah,
Yeah.
most definitely. All right. Well, I know it. Katie's going to wrap us up with some Florida man.
Florida man needed to buy some meth
Oh,
at
one does around the holidays, I guess. I don't know.
and he was buying it in California.
Hmm.
So what to
Seems
do?
like a long drive.
What to do? Well, he flew. He flew to California to coordinate the delivery of meth from
Hmm.
California to Florida. What are you going to do? You can't really fly with that, right?
Yeah, well, I would not recommend it.
I mean, I guess you could have rented a car and driven back with it, but that seems I don't know. I don't know what his specific logistical situation was, but his solution was, well, hell, I'll just box it up and mail it to myself.
Oh, good Lord.
Why not?
Really?
Yeah.
Totally sure that they're not, checking for meth in the mail.
Yeah. So this is Ryan Hardy or Jason Hardy, Jason Ryan Hardy. So Jason, yeah, so he thought that it would be safe to just pack it up and send it to himself. So it was 18 pounds of meth.
Oh my God. We're
Yeah, it's
talking about,
not a little bit.
ooh,
hmm
trafficking meth. Got it.
So, oh yeah, packed up his big old box, and it was very weird to the post office in California to receive a package to Jason Hardy from Jason Hardy, and the return address and the shipping address were the exact same on the package. This is not genius level crimes here.
No, it is not.
So they thought that made this a suspicious package. And if the post office thinks that your package is suspicious, they can open it. And this was suspicious because of that fact that why are you shipping something from California to Florida with these addresses? Like, this just doesn't track, right?
Yeah.
So they did go ahead and open it up, and oh gosh, just 18 pounds of meth inside.
I mean,
Oh, excuse me.
only
Good Lord.
18. Whoa.
Yeah. So, in the meantime, Jason flies back to Florida and his package didn't show up. So,
Did he check his tracking number? I mean,
oh no. So Karen called the delivery service to demand to know where his package was.
well, of course he did. Well, he didn't insure it, obviously.
So on the phone, he confirmed his identity, first name, email, address, phone number. And that, quickly led to the police showing up at his house.
Oh, yeah.
And there you go. So don't do that because that's real stupid. He was actually
It
just
is.
sentenced for it. So he was sentenced to 10 years. Because
Boy.
18 pounds of meth is a lot.
If only criminals could all be this dumb.
Right? Truly.
It would
Just
make
keep
life
picking
a
them
lot
off
easier.
right and left. Nope, you can't do that. And you were over here. Better stop doing that. And I know it would make things a lot easier. But
It would.
Jason's going to have a good long time out to think about what he's done. And that seems like probably the best thing for him.
Yeah, it may take him a while to figure it out.
And the U.S. Postal Service.
Gosh. Wow.
Yeah.
Just wow. Okay. Well,
So there you have
thanks
it.
for that.
You're welcome, I guess.
Boy. Well, you know it. This is our Wednesday episode. We will be back Wednesday night with our case updates show. It is at 7 p.m. Mountain. It is live streamed to YouTube and our Facebook group. We are the True Crime Squad. Thanks for being here.
Take care.